Well, happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Just Jump In live stream. How is everybody doing out there? Hey, Randy, welcome in. JD from Grandpa Rails, welcome. Jimmy, welcome. Hey, Bill. Hey, Mom. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's had a good week and stayed in some air conditioning. Seems like it's been a heat wave. Klondike, welcome. Nice to have you in here. Appreciate you coming in. Hopefully everybody's dealing with the nationwide heat wave there. Chuck, welcome. Good to have you in here. A bunch of people are coming over from Rick Folds Bailey Railroad. Just had a live stream, so I know a bunch of people are coming over from there. And thanks, Bill, for letting me know you can hear me. And so he's been doing some good work, and make sure you check him out if you haven't come over from his. He goes live every 2 weeks on Fridays, an hour before my live stream. So make sure you show some support over there. So this week, as I promised, I wanted to work a little bit on Gopher Girl, welcome in. Star Railroad, welcome. How are you? Wigwag, welcome in. This week I wanted to investigate more and kind of try and get used to OBS streaming software. I think I got somewhere with it, and so one of these days and soon I'll just go live at some point with OBS. I'll show you what it's gonna look like, at least to start with, and you can either tell me you love it or hate it. But we're gonna try that so it just looks a little better. Doesn't have restream all over it, and how I'll have more things that I can do with it than I can do on Restream or StreamYard or any of those with the free plan. Welcome, Bob. Nice to have you in here. So I worked on that quite a bit, but I did get back to working on cars for the AP, but on the 3D printed side. I have the coil car that was scratch built with styrene done and ready to be evaluated. So I wanted to move on and try and work on the coil car 3D print version, and then try and get close to finishing the gondola. So we'll talk about that. I'll show you some progress on that. What is everybody else working on tonight or this weekend? So it did certainly get a little bit cooler out, but it has been kind of warm. Randy always camping during the summer. It's amazing technology now that so would you, if you're sitting here on a live stream, would you call that glamping or in your camper or that? And I appreciate that too. Yes, JD has that effect on all of us. The other thing I do, like I'll go on to other streams and I'll check out other people's channels. Like there was Mike that was in the stream earlier that I subscribed to his channel. I hadn't seen that. He's got a few videos up that I'll have to check out. So it's good to get to know people in the chat and get to check out their content and everything as well. So while folks are coming in, just wanted to do a check-in on what's going on in the Twin Cities. And there isn't much because the national convention for the NMRA is around the corner. It starts officially, I think, Monday the 27th in Tennessee. And the next real, we'll have a local, we'll have an August meeting or outing, potentially a picnic or something for the division. But it looks like the next thing is in September. Is the Twin Cities Model Railroad Museum puts on a show at the fairgrounds twice a year. So that's coming up in September. And also in September, the National Narrow Gauge Convention is in the Twin Cities. So that's kind of what's coming up in our area. So not a huge amount locally. Again, during the summer, we don't have much going on because everybody here is outdoors during the summer. Just, yeah, Bill, that's the thing that I slow down for whatever reason is on the detailing. So that's Klondike, that's 1/6 figures. Hey, Rick, welcome in. And Klondike, what's you have a model railroading or modeling business now, right? Is it I thought it was what was that, well, I'll let you tell us what it is, because I can't come up with the words right now. I can picture it, but I can't come up with the words right now, which is not good for a live stream. So I did that. I did the cut levers for the coil car, and I kind of made them up. They kind of look like they're out there where they should be. Bob, you should be working on bench work. So I saw, Bob, you were doing the sign with the VW Beetles. That was pretty cool. I saw that online. So, okay. So, moving into so the coil car. So last week, I showed you that I did one of my little prototype prints. So this is the end of the car, and what I was trying to do was these steps basically on here. So on one end, the brake wheel's up here, and then the chain drops down behind this. Basically, it won't be able to go behind it, but I can put it through it if I need to, or just to the side. This was, when I printed this, I tried to get it at 080 thickness, and it actually printed at like 096 when I measured it. So a little bit big, but it printed, which was good. So I went ahead, and I have two actual, well, Onshape. The way you do Onshape or work with Onshape is you build the parts, and then you have an area where you can put the parts together. And so I have two of those because there were issues with one, and so I redid the other one. Well, I accidentally added these graded steps to the ends of the wrong one, and it was a terrible print overall. I still have to figure out how I printed some of the other ones really well, and some of these aren't coming out as good. That has to do with a lot of factors. But the other thing I noticed was these were, I needed to get these down. It's still pretty thick. You can see some of the grading on there. The print itself was pretty bad. The top was fine. The bottom is where all the supports were. I use two different filaments that don't mesh together well, and that's done a purpose for supports so that they come off easy, but it did take these the sides off a little bit, and obviously took the bolster over here off. And you can tell here that it pulled up off of the build plate and had some issues. Then, while that was going on, I couldn't find, well, I'll get to the gondola, but while I was working on the gondola, I couldn't find the coupler height gauge. So I went to print it out, and there was some really bad sounds coming from the printer. And I went to check it out, and it pretty much gouged into the build plate. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought that maybe when I had used the supports for this, there was some clogging, there were some other error messages. I cleared clogs, and any clogs that would have been in there were cleared out. That wasn't an issue. And I found out, and I started fighting with the printer and getting all huffy and mad at it. And I found out it was my fault. We used to get an error on Bamboo software when you were using a build plate that wasn't compatible with the print, and I had the wrong build plate on, and it still printed, and so that caused the issues. So I still need a new one. I need at least one new build plate. But I apologize to the printer, got it printing again. And here's the beauty of a 3D printer. It's repeatable. So I had found a coupler height gauge that worked really well. It sits between the tracks, where the other one, I think from Katie, goes above the tracks. This one sits between the tracks. I tested it against the other gauge, and it worked just fine. So I always had two. I had the Katie one, and I had the printed one, and they're probably in the floor in the abyss. But I was just able to, 20 minutes later, I had two of these, put the couplers in. I still need to glue the tops down, but they do their job and they work. So that's one of the bonuses of a 3D printer, is you don't have to wait till you can get out to the hobby shop or go or go online and have something shipped and wait for that. There are some things that are very easy to print that work very well and make your life a little easier. So I got those done in the meantime. So is that like the Great Train Show, Bob? Or one of those in Monroeville? That's right, the T-track modules. That's what you do. Yeah. So you're more bold than I am, Bob. Blender, I use Blender for a different program, for a different purpose, and it was still just for the simple things that you did on there. It was really daunting, and I haven't gotten my head around that one, and that's why I've stuck with one, just so I could go full bore into it. So, but you're better off than I am. Yeah, it is almost always our fault, anybody's fault, because the printers work very well. Yeah, and this one, the because it was off, and because it was trying to detect the textured build plate instead of the cool tack one, which is smooth, it was basically scribing into the smooth plate, and so I got to get that one replaced. Um, Yeah, I don't know if Monroeville is or not. I mean, I'm not out there, but I've heard about it. It's Greenberg. That's what I'm. So, when I get out to New Jersey, if it's timed right, I can get to the Greenberg show in Edison, New Jersey. That one's not too far from where I go. It was closer to where I grew up, but my mom lives now a bit south. We'll still go to that, and I think potentially it's around Thanksgiving time or something, I think is what my mom said. I'll have to look it up. They do a couple times a year in Edison. So that was what um, what I worked on with the coil car and fighting with the printer. The other thing I wanted to get done was this guy. This is um, the gondola, and it has dog poop bag roll holders as the load right now. But this is not done on the bottom at all. All the detail parts have to go in, so all the wires and music wire and all the brake parts have to go in. And I was hoping to be able to submit this one and get this done, but there are some problems with this one. So some of the issues I'm still dealing with is these trucks. These trucks should be sort of under this bottom, the bottom side, but it does limit how much the truck can move back and forth. And I haven't figured out, I haven't measured it or anything to see what radius it can do and can't do. I did fix though, and it still does hit hit the coupler here, so it still could be. We could still do something with the height, or potentially redesign and move it back a little further. But this is approximately where they should be, so that's what I'm struggling with there. But they work quite a bit better with the updates to the bolsters. These are both equidistant from the coupler now, where one was right up against it, one was further back. I did run into it. So one of the levers that holds the different parts of the brake wires goes in the middle here, and that hole had supports in it from the printing, and they didn't come out well on that either, so that's problematic. So I'm still going to finish this one up, and I can submit it anyway, but I don't know if it would be a good one to merit. It has some problems. The other one that I haven't figured out at all was these end plates. I did design them as end plates, so they are actually a separate or a piece that goes above the rails on the side. Hey Nathan, welcome in. But let's see if we can get a close up here. You can see some of the strings on the side and some of these pieces. Those are supports, because this, when it's building upward, it's seeing that as unsupported and it's putting supports in. And you can see here, it's so thin that it's easy to crack. So that's problematic. And I mean, I could paint that away and I could put rust around it and I can make it look like it was cracked. But getting the supports from underneath is what's cracking that. I don't have great tools for that. So what I'm hoping to do is redesign this to be mostly solid and just have enough of an let me put that in here. I designed this to be mostly solid and just have enough of a edge in there and be dark enough that it looks like it's a separate plate. So that's what I think I'm going to try to do. Yeah, Nathan, I could put washers in here, and it could lift it up just enough, probably. But we might have to do some other things with coupler height if that's the case, because these I haven't tested it. Well, now that's I actually can test it live here, I guess. I don't know if we have a great camera for this because I only have the overhead, and getting this on the tracks, I can't see the wheels. That's a pain in the butt. And this one has metal wheels on one truck and plastic on the other, because I'm out of the metal wheels and I have about 1 million of the plastic ones, so it's not quite right. But here is, so this goes just in between the tracks, and it's going to make a fool of me. I might have to, there's this little edge there that it printed because it printed a larger layer. So if I just, where's my, so just get that, just see if I can get that lip off. Maybe might take a little more solid sanding, but it fits right in there. And again, I put the Katie one up against it and it looked fine. It matched up. So when I come in here, and of course you can't see this at all. Whoa, hey now. That's, you can't see it real well on there, but it's actually, the height is actually accurate on there. So shims might not be a bad idea, just to get it up, just tenths of an inch, so possible. So yeah, in the real world too, it's not as easy as in a fix, and things happen when the couplers are bumping each other. They have some spring to them on the real thing, but they're gonna have some deformities and things like that they're gonna have to deal with. Yeah. Have a good night, Bob. Nice to have you in here. So, yeah. And for instance, there's going to be, technically there should be some sorts of give on this car because the whole assembly underneath is a hydro cushion, so it has some give. So you're going to have some differences for sure in those loads and everything. Some of the other stuff that I did on here was I wanted to make sure I got weights in there and figured out a way. So all I did was I actually printed 2 floors. And so the floor that's here, and then I put the car weights and measured it out for NMRA standard underneath here. And so this is another floor. The floor is really pretty thin. And I know I cut it, unfortunately, to fit it in. It was a little long, what I had printed. So I had to cut it down, and now I have a little gap in there that I know that from an evaluation standpoint, people, it's not going to do as well. But I can still finish this up and print it. I was gonna just show you if anyone, hopefully some folks are interested. But I was going to show you. So this is Onshape. I've showed this type of thing before, but here's when I talk about all right, why did it just do that? Why is it going away? What the heck just happened? Let's try this again. All right. And I struggle with this mouse and scrolling, so I'm going to apologize up front that because it's going to do stuff. Come on, like this. Stay. I don't know why it won't stay. Sorry, folks. This is really a pain. All right, it's not going to cooperate, is it? So what I'm trying to show here is that this is, and I don't know why it's moving on its own there, but that's the plate. And so I would edit it separately. So underneath it, I could actually add in basically blocks that are small enough that, again, you won't see you won't see it if you're looking in here necessarily. I'll paint it if I need to black on the inside somehow, or before I don't know, something like that. So so that this prints better, and hopefully it won't have the same supports, or won't have any supports is the hope, if it has enough behind it. So this software, Nathan, is called Onshape. And let's go back to that. And so it's browser based, and it has basically a free plan. The only thing is, if you're making your models for profit, or you don't want people to take your models, because it's on their free plan, it's public, and so people could do that. But I just wanted to make sure that I focused on, there's so many CAD programs out there. I wanted to make sure I focused on one and learned one, because I was trying to bounce around and try different ones, and they all have some similarities and some differences. And this one I just found had a good workflow to it. It's parametric, which means that you could go in and you can change something in what they call a part studio, where you're designing the part. And when you come back to this assembly, it will have changed on here too. And it saves all of your steps, so that you could go back and change something way back in the flow. So if I go to the, let me pick, so here. So here is what they call a part studio. This is where we're designing the parts. And you can see I built the sides. I built the floor to it. I built the top rails to the sides on here. And I built them all in here. And then I assembled it in one of the assemblies. But it's all on the left side, all of these things, all these parts, and all these steps where you see sketch and extrude and transform and fillet and all those. Those are all the design pieces. And I can go in and update any one of them, and it'll update forward everything after that. So it's a really flexible program, and it's not hard to learn. I mean, everybody has a different aptitude, but if I could learn it, most people could learn it. So if you're interested, I say give it a try. If you're trying to protect, you can pay. I forget how much it is to pay, but you pay for a license, and then you get more storage, you get more, you get protection of all of your stuff being private, and you could share it with people. It's a professional design program, CAD design program. Companies use it. You can collaborate with people, and live updates happen as you do it. Things like that. That's all on the paid end, and people who are making money off of stuff will do that. Yeah, and I've gone back to Tinkercad to look at that. Yeah, I think Fusion 360 is also parametric. Um, yep, you could do that's that. You could do that. I know that people evaluating will pick it apart if they really want to and say, "Well, you were covering something up." But if you're gonna weather it anyway, it's gonna get used. You might as well do that. So um, you could definitely, there's stuff you definitely could do on that, um, to cover those gaps up in there. So you can see the gap there. That dark line is the gap. So definitely could do that. I could go really high tech and melt some styrene in there, or other plastic or whatever, but not going to do that. I'll probably do something by weathering it. As I was saying, I've gone back just to check out Tinkercad for the um, dollhouse miniature stuff when you're making something decorative, um, and it has curves and stuff. I'm not real good with curves and things in Onshape, so I was kind of looking at um, um, Tinkercad to do that, and I did a mock-up of a couch with curves in it and everything, and it came out okay. I'm Nathan, have you done any? I haven't looked at your videos, to be honest, in a while. Have you done a video on the work you did on that Duchess of Hamilton? I think I saw a post or something of a double decker um, engine. I think you were doing, but I don't remember the Duchess of Hamilton. Um, but it would be cool if you had a video on it, on what you're doing, if you're able to do that and show your CAD work and stuff. Um, but this is what I was trying to finish up, and I ran into a couple things like not having the wheels. I don't know. You can tell those are the metal wheels. Those are the plastic. They have metal in the middle, but they're plastic wheels on the end. They're fine and everything, but I like to keep stuff consistent. I'll have to check out the video on that. Yep, I'll have to check that out. So I'll do that this weekend. I'll have some time to do that. What kind of printer, Nathan, do you have? I have a Bamboo A1 printer that I'm going to say that I've started with, in the hopes that at some point I can get other printers and try them out, tinker with those at some point. But I need to focus on the cars. I need to get back to finishing up the passenger cars. I'm trying to fully print the passenger cars. I'm trying to get the last thing I was having trouble with on the passenger cars was the getting the underbody just right to fit into the shell. Hey, Hopeless, welcome. Ah, okay. Gotcha, Nathan. So that may be a little bit older then. So But I've been enjoying it, except for the times when I fight with it. But when I'm wrong, I got to admit I'm wrong. Don't tell Gopher Girl that. She doesn't need to know that. My printer and I have a different relationship than my wife and I do. So anyway, so we bought um, we bought a box from Amazon of the dog poop bags, and they were originally coming when we got them with these plastic rolls in the middle, and then the bags were rolled around them. They've come in these cardboard rolls now, and I think we got 1,440 bags, like tons. And you would think that's a lot, but our dogs go through them, and then we have all these left over. And I did a car once with, and I have a video out there with on the channel where it highlighted me using these plastic ones to make a pipe load for the car, for a flat car. So I thought I'll just hold on to these. I have a baggie. Here's the other ones with all the other plastic ones that we have from our last batch. And I'm going to have thousands of them, or well, 1,000 of them, or 1,400 of these. And so I was just putting them in here just to show a load on the car. So this, so here's one of the things I found out. If I'm going to be prototypical, I technically can't use this car, because this car, I found out as I was researching, going back and looking at it, that these cars were actually in the 2000s. So that's outside of my prototype timeline. These kind of had the same ribbed ends as box cars for the ones from my era, which is the 80s and 90s. But that doesn't need to stop me from the car certificate, using it for the car certificate. But it technically wouldn't run on the layout, because that will eventually build, because it'll be too new for it. And I haven't done what I've wanted to do on the modules yet, and to get the foam on and get that moving. But also want to, so what I have to do is I have to keep myself focused, because I want to bounce back and forth from project to project, obviously. And if I'm not getting them done simultaneously, then I'm just wasting a lot of time. And so I'm trying to finish a project, then move on, finish a project and move on. That's why I went back to this one. Unfortunately, I was reminded today, which is good that I was reminded today, that we do 3 weeks every 6 months in the office, and otherwise we'll work from home at my job now, and have been since COVID. So I'm disappointed to learn, even though it was in my calendar, that for the next 2 weeks of the 3 that I have to do for the second half of the year are next week and the week following. I'll be in the office, so I'll have to commute every day. That'll take some oomph out of me. So I expect that I'll have a slowdown. Not that I've gotten a lot done, but I think I'll have a slowdown in the work that I do over the next couple weeks. So the prototype piece, Nathan, is not for me. It's for the AP program, the achievement program. So it has to be prototype of that era. I have to be able to prove that it is, especially if I'm doing like a prototype scene as one of the certificates. Otherwise, I'm of the ilk that you can put on whatever you want to put on your layout. You can put on your layout. It doesn't matter to me. Definitely doesn't matter to me what you put on your own layout and what you run. Whatever makes you happy. So, um, so I'd be happy if this is running and it looks good and it looks like a real car. I'm happy. And the fact that I could reproduce this um, with relative ease, and not as long, while it will take a long time to print the parts, it's not as it won't take as long as hand building it. All my time had been in the design piece. um, but um, so anyway, um, and if I can get the passenger car right from a 3D printing standpoint, I can print out an immense amount of cars. It'll, again, the prints will take a long time, but I could print out. That might be a reason to have a print farm and have multiple printers or have faster printers. Um, I also want to, once these are all done, I'm going to ask somebody with a resin printer to try printing these files, because I want to see the quality difference because from a filament, because the quality is really good on a filament printer if you do it right, and it can only be better on a resin printer, um, because you can get more into the detail, and yep. I have, when I was preparing for our 100th show for last time, um, I was going to go through a list of all the projects I didn't do or didn't finish, and then there were a bunch that I really did finish, and I was really shocked by it as I was starting to analyze it. But the stuff for the achievement program is the stuff I really want to finish, and get done, and get evaluated at some point. It's harder without events going on to nail down times and places where these can be reviewed. Um, I don't have a spot in my house really to do it at this point. So, I would have to do it out somewhere or at somebody else's layout. Um, but, with cars, that shouldn't be a problem. And then, um, I got to move back to working on the prototype scene, which means I got to start back working on um, the actual station, and then I do want to jump into the stuff I already started um, on the motive power, because I'll do a catenary maintenance vehicle, I'll do an engine, and I'm thinking at this point I'm going to change the cab car up a little bit. I'm going to probably buy a motorized decoder. Right now it has a decoder for sound and lights, but it doesn't have motor power to it by design. Um, but I think I want to, but I still have to finish that. I had that evaluated in its current state, and it didn't do so well. It had a lot of work that needed to be updated on it and finished. Um, Details have to be finished on it and everything. So that'll be a project, but I want to make that motive power. Um, to, and that one I don't think can be considered scratch built, because it was built um, using the Horizon passenger coach shell. So the shell and the underbody on that one um, are from the kit. So that one has to be super detailed to qualify. It's not going to qualify as a scratch built car. So so those are the things that I have been spending my time on this week. And I do hope that when we get back together on Friday as well, I'll have done some work. I just have to get home and be able to do it, and spend time with the family and all of those things. Um, so uh, that is where I am at. I didn't have a whole lot, like I said, because I was Oh, well, let me do this. For OBS is a program that, again, that you can use I could actually use it and live stream using it on Restream. I haven't tried to set that up because I can use it standalone, and I can it can have bells and whistles that I can't have on Restream or StreamYard free plans, and there's no cost to OBS. So let me give you a sneak peek of what I have worked on. One of the things that you've all said is the feature on my live streams are my hands and not me. So I wanted to, because I can't have, it doesn't work well on here because it doesn't want you to have more than one camera source, at least on the free plan. Same with StreamYard. Yeah, you can promote your content, Nathan. Your content's really good. I really appreciate the work you do, and I learn from you all the time. So that's what we're all here to do. We're a community. So by all means, and that's why I had mentioned, I had called out Klondike in the chat because I know he has a business, and he's gotten that off the ground, and so I know he's part of the community, and so I get no problem with you telling people to go watch your videos. I suggested as well to go watch your videos all the time because the work you do is amazing. And so anyway, so let's just give you a peek at. Let me see if I can do window. All right. So what you see here is this is the OBS is an app on your computer, and so this is kind of a control room screen basically. And so all I wanted to do is brand it more. I wanted to be able to show you that you can see me and I'm a real person and not just hands. And I just, and I didn't want the company brand, the companies, I mean, they're letting me use their software for free. Yes, they're Restream, or if I was using StreamYard, and their branding is on there. But if I can do that without it, I would certainly like to. So this was just the initial, and I can make 1 million of these, but this was the initial setup that you would see on screen as a full screen, with where I would have video in here in the middle, and then you can see me on camera, picking my nose or whatever I'm doing. And this is kind of the setup. Just there, like controls, and there's all kinds of controls you can put on here, and it's really customizable, and it's open source, so people are designing stuff for it all the time. And so I would come in here and I can switch scenes like I do in Restream or StreamYard or any of the others. So like if I wanted the Be Right Back screen, not sure if you can see it on screen there. Let's see if you can see it on. No. But, well, it is in there. So, I'm sorry, over here. So, if I go and click on this screen, you would have the same Be Right Back I did do. The outro that I'll do tonight on Restream is already on here. And then I can put any kind of countdown in where you have that one trippy countdown that you can do on here on Restream with the free plan. I can put anything in there, and I plan to start with the video I didn't show at the 100th episode, where it was the a video I made in Canva where I make the thumbnails of the last 50 shows. And that'll be the countdown screen for now. And I can do anything in the countdown screen, and is extremely flexible. So that's what I'm looking to do. So I'll probably pop up a stream at some point, hopefully not overlapping somebody else's, whether it's late during the week or on the weekend. I might try it. I did a test stream with Gopher Girl on YouTube. It's unlisted. So I just did it with her being the only attendee, and we fixed some problems that I was having, and it was working. So we'll try that for sure. And let's see here. So let me find a couple things for you. Where are you? Let's see. So let's see here. So for Nathan's channel, just want to make sure I get that in. That's the long version of his channel, I believe, because it's a redirect. So you can just look up. Hey, Ken, have you... when are you going to the National? Are you going early in the week? Are you going this weekend? So so you can do that, or you can look up Nathan Delay, just search, do the @ symbol and Nathan Delay with no spaces, and you'll find his channel. And then I think this is yours. Let's see here. So this is Klondike. So again, the @ symbol on Klondike will do it. We'll get you to his. So, okay. So then that's Nathan's. If you, again, just put the @ sign and that behind it in the search, and you'll find the channel. So, okay. So there you go. So that again is where we're at. We'll see how tired I sound on Friday after working in the office. I work in health, welfare, and pension. And so we're coming into our busy season. fourth quarter is our busy season. October, November, December, and just ramping up for it starting now. So from a staffing perspective, we're going to be very busy. So while I'm in the office, where usually we don't have much to do specific to the office, and there's not many of us in there, we'll be having we're heavily hiring because it's seasonal for what we do, and we're going to have probably 30 or 40 people coming in on Monday, and then then every 2 weeks, I think, after that, we'll have classes and stuff. So nope, the S scalers are connecting again. Don't you guys have a national convention too for S scale? Or is that not something you've been able to put together yet? Or do you try to invade Hot Wheels conventions? So, all right. With that, I've kept you guys around for about an hour, and I've gone through my updates, and everybody's updated what they're doing. For those of you who are going to the national convention in Tennessee, this is one I was hoping to go, and we never worked it out financially and timing wise, because Gopher Girl has a friend in Tennessee, and I thought it was a good idea or opportunity to for us to no problem, Klondike, for us to get out to a national convention and for me to experience that for a first time, but we'll have to wait. So that's going to have to come at a later time. I don't want to say it, but if anybody's brave enough to bring it back to the Twin Cities, maybe maybe there's the opportunity there. We have the regional convention for the Thousand Lakes region coming up next year in May, and that'll be in Sioux Falls, and we have family in Sioux Falls, so that's going to be an easy way for us to get out there, and we'll have people we can bug to try and stay with, or at least, get some free meals off of them or something. I don't know, but we have my wife's family out there, so we'll be able to visit them, and I'll be able to go to the convention there. So, okay, yeah. So, it's the national convention has a lot of parts to it. It's not just a train show. So the train show's on the end of the show, so the Saturday and Sunday at the end of the show, but things start at the beginning of the week. So they're going to start on Monday, and you have clinics and layout tours and and you have tours of other train activities, and then you have non-train activities. So you have a lot going on for a full week. Yeah. Oh, the dogs are barking. That means the neighbors across the street are running an errand or something. Anyway, so those that are going, have a fantastic time, and report back on Friday. If you're back on Friday, if not the following Friday, report how it went, share online, because I certainly want to know what went on, and I'm sad that I missed it. But anyway, remember to just jump in and have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next Friday, everybody.